All right. Woohoo. Day 2, just making sure we are on. We have hit record. Wouldn't it be nice if some of the technology things are working for me today? Those who have been messaging me, I appreciate that you are so ready, so hungry, so want all of this. And I'm so sorry that my website is not in agreement with us. That's really all I can do is laugh at this point. That's all I can do. If you are here live, go ahead and just say hello. I'd love to say hello to you. I know we can't see each other, but I love knowing that you're here so we can have a conversation together. And if you are catching the replay, of course, just do replay. And if you are catching this on the archive page, maybe that means my website's working. And if you're catching this on the archive page, know that you are welcome to send an email. I'll give that information here too. Hey, Martha. Hi, Carissa. Hey, Julie. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Hello, hello. It's Tuesday. No, it's Monday. It's Monday. Maybe Monday's that good time. We talked about that. So maybe Monday's good. I know yesterday there was a lot of replays happening. I know my website's been one heck of a mess, but if you are here, say hi. Would love to say hi back. We are on day 2 of our 5-day event to help you build a better body image. I loved yesterday. I loved it so much. And I loved the feedback. I just want to grab that real quickly. If you are on the email, you joined via email, but you haven't received the emails because, hi, Christine, because my website's being all sorts of pill. I just want to give you the email again, support@healthcoachforlife.com. Just message me because yesterday, this is our declaration that we signed, and then there was another PDF in today's. So if you haven't had that, if the archive's not been working for you, please just email support. You can even just send me a quick one right as soon as we're done, or maybe you have 2 windows going and all of that right now. Support@healthcoachforlife.com. If you've already signed up, but you haven't received an email, you're not getting the PDF, I want to make sure you get that. I want to make sure you have access to the archive page. So everything is available there when things are working properly, but I'll make sure I email you personally so that you can have all the things that you need. If you are watching this on the archive and you are not part of our group, make sure that you join. I want you to get all the things in one place. All right. I'm sharing an amazing strategy today. This is probably, I've been so excited literally all day, balance between just upset about the website, dealing with all of that, but also like ridiculously excited for this strategy. I actually created this. You'll see my little copyright sign. This is my strategy, this backwards bucket list. We're going to talk about it tonight. So I'm pretty geeked because I've been doing this now for several years. And I coined this actually when I was working as a contract life coach. And this process has been so helpful for me. I was actually walking through some of it today as I was just, putting the final touches on our talk tonight. But before we dive into that, I just want to chat for a moment about what did come out in the email today and the exercise that I shared in that this morning. That was, let me grab it. I have one here. I know that affirmations can be really woo-woo. I'm actually not a very woo-woo person. I don't know any woo-woo people out there. I love the woo-woo people because they always, hey, Steph's here too. The woo-woo, like it opens up my mind to think about other things and look at the world in other ways. And affirmations may not even be woo-woo for you. I'm going to say woo-woo like 6 times here. But I also know sometimes we have maybe even like a negative connotation with affirmations. So I really thought about that. And today I sent out the value statements. So I just want to reiterate, if you did not get the email, but you know you signed up, just send me an email at support@healthcoachforlife.com. I want to make sure you get the value statements. It's 2 pages. I was very intentional with that. I didn't do one because I believe this is going to be something you can come back to again and again. And I know there was some ladies who even were on in the group writing some specific, individualized, genuine words, some statements, some affirmations about themselves. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I will tell you, my goal with the value statements is to highlight all the amazing things about you. It's what makes you you. So whether you write these down and you look at it from a standpoint of you're writing affirmations, or you like looking at it from this viewpoint of value statements, what I value, because our goal today is really going from this external value, which this is where we live, right? This is the world, the culture. This is messages that are ingrained in us, that our value comes from external, and even that external being our body, how our body looks, the shape and the size of our body, to looking internal, to going inward and really highlighting our value, really looking at that of all the things that make you amazing. So what I did, though, I just want to make sure you know this, on the archive page when it's working, and I will make sure I get on here, whether it's late tonight or early in the morning. Those of you who were like, hey, I'm having some email stuff, or I didn't get the things. I was up at 3:42 this morning. I got in my office and the website seemed to be working then. So I made sure to get stuff out. So as soon as I get up tomorrow morning too, or tonight before I go to bed, I'll make sure these are set up and you guys have those. If I get emails from you at the support email address. But on the archive page, I actually did a direct link to my affirmation deck. So about a year and a half ago, maybe, I actually created a deck of affirmations for women specifically, though they could be used by anybody. And sometimes we might need some help of ways to speak to ourselves, ways to highlight our value. And I just decided I just stuck it right on there. It is a direct link to a full 30 plus page PDF because they're individual cards of affirmations. So maybe you are like, I love affirmations, I just don't know what to say. That deck is totally free for you. It's on the archive page. So again, if you signed up via email, you should have access to the archive page when things are working properly. If that's not happening, I'm just going to make sure I post it in here later in the week if you like affirmations. If not, I'd say take that other standpoint. Really, it's just a shift of going, their value statements. So in addition, though, to creating value statements this week, I want to do this exercise with you here that I've done with many clients, and I've coined this term, a backwards bucket list. You probably saw that, those of you who got an email. So I hope you're excited. And if you have, something to write on and something to write with, I always say pen and paper, but I know some people like pencil, some people like to type things out. I always really go to the writing. There's something that happens in our brain, and I don't think the same connections happen when we type, but I'd love you to have something to write with and write on. Water, not coffee. Jen doesn't need coffee this late. All right, so glad you're here again. If you hopped on, be sure to say hello while we hop into this exercise. So I don't know if anyone out here, and you guys can tell me in the comments if you remember that movie with Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson. It was from the early 2000s and it was called Bucket List. Do you remember that movie? I mean, I really like Morgan Freeman. I'm pretty sure I've seen like every movie he's made. Jack Nicholson's not bad, but he'll always be the Joker to me. I'm really dating myself, but I digress. I don't know if you've seen that movie. Great movie. I don't know where, you can see it right now. I don't know. This always makes me, every time I think of old movies, I'm like, where's Blockbuster when you need it? That's like an entire podcast episode of talking about the sadness of no Blockbuster. But anyway, So the movie, though, if you haven't seen it, it was, I think it was around 2007. I've talked about this movie so many times. You think I would just have it memorized by now. But it's this idea that we come to this point in our lives, right? There's a lot of things we haven't done yet. So we come up with this list. We write all the things down. It's, places we want to go, things we want to experience. And maybe some of those have emotional strings attached to them, right? Maybe we make amends with somebody, we ask for forgiveness, we reestablish a relationship with someone. That is the basis of this movie. I just want to see in the comments, oh, Christine, you haven't seen it. Okay. I'm telling you, this is a great movie. I highly, highly recommend it. So you might have to go look on, I don't know what these days, Amazon Prime or something, but bucket list. So what they do is both these gentlemen are looking like, what haven't I done yet? And they make a bucket list. And you may have just even heard this term used, right? Like, oh, what are all the things I want to do before I die? That sounds morbid, but that's really the premise of a bucket list. We're going to take a spin on that, though. We're going to take a look back at our life to see all we have done, anything that we have accomplished. Sometimes we lose sight of how freaking amazing we are. We lose sight of what we have achieved in our life. And I want to bring it all up to the surface. I kind of want to have it like right in your face. Like if you're going to be hit with a pie in the face kind of feeling, that's what I want right here with this backwards bucket list, like right there, right in front of you. It's a fun exercise. So if you have pen and paper, we're going to start writing out your own backwards bucket list. So this is anything and everything you've ever done, you've ever accomplished. So I'm going to get you started here. Again, I was even, I don't know, this list always makes me smile when I go through it for myself, when I am doing hard things right now, like this website situation. This is a list that I readily grab from. So your list, your backwards bucket list will contain big things. Maybe you've earned a master's degree, or maybe you've birthed children. I've had 4. That goes on my list. And I literally write 1 for every line. That's a big deal. I carried those kids. I birthed those kids. That was a big achievement, a big accomplishment, and every one of them gets their own line. This list, this backwards bucket list, it can include things that maybe you don't acknowledge as an accomplishment. Maybe you bought a first home. That could have happened 20 years ago, but you did that. Maybe it was even starting your first job. We're going back here, right? I know for me, I was 15. I got a worker's permit. I think that's what it was called in Massachusetts. And I had my first job, got paid under the table, as they say. Is that a phrase they use anymore? Cash in hand for washing dishes. But I got a first job. Maybe it was that first, big job out of school. Maybe it's that you graduated high school, you got your GED. We're going back as far back as you can remember on accomplishments, achievements. So one of the ones that goes on the top of my list, and this is going back, y'all. One of the accomplishments on my list is that I spoke at our 8th grade promotion ceremony. So where I grew up, it's not called graduation, but we did have this promotion ceremony because, from 8th grade going to high school, I was actually asked to be the student speaker. Now, first thing you might be thinking is, I'm not surprised at all, Jen, you talk all the time. But you might also be thinking, Jen, that was 8th grade. You're 42 years old. I get it. But this is a backwards bucket list of all my accomplishments. Anything. I mean, I could really try to go back. I was, in brownies, and sold cookies door to door. Big accomplishment. However far back you can go, what are those things you've done, things you've achieved? It goes on there. Now, speaking at my 8th grade promotion ceremony might not have that same weight as, getting my bachelor's in psychology or having my 4 children, starting a business, having a podcast, buying my house. It doesn't have that same, value, if you will, but it's not about ranking them. It's just listing all the accomplishments, everything you can recall, all of them. I'm curious if anything, I know you guys are probably writing. Okay, let me see. Julie says, first page of my journal. I did this for the Hayes book, or a different one, but I think I could add some to it. Oh, I love it. Oh, I didn't even know this was an exercise in there. I love it. Christine says, I love this. Good. Oh, I love it. If you've never done anything like this before, I have to believe it's going to bring a smile to your face. It's going to bring a smile to your face no matter what, because this is you. Everything that you've done, big, small, it doesn't matter. Go as far back as you can. I mean, I went back to 8th grade. If you guys can even go back further than that, like, I am so impressed. My memory just cannot get past that kind of group. Middle school, I don't know, it's because maybe we block it out. Maybe my accomplishment, I don't think I ever put this on there, is I survived junior high, middle school. I think we should all put that on our backwards bucket list. But the first one I really highlighted that's actually written on my list. Yes, I do have one. You guys could even use the second page of the value statements or whatever you want to do. That is on my list. Maybe you submitted a piece. Oh, I think I thought of this one about my brother. Not that I make anybody else's list for them, but it made me think of him. He submitted a piece for a literary magazine, in middle school. Maybe you overcame a really tough situation at home, in your family. Anything that you've accomplished, anything that you have achieved, anything that you've done. Again, there's no ranking, there's no right or wrong on here. This is all about how amazing you are. You achieved it, you accomplished it. Write it down, and then just keep writing. Write all the things you can think of, all the things you've ever accomplished. And like I said, I mean, if you have children, they get like a line each. You don't write, had 3 kids. You write the first one, the second one, the third one. They're all individual achievements and accomplishments. And maybe you're on the other side of that and your kids are grown now and they're out of the house. So maybe that's a whole other accomplishment. Julie says, wasn't called a reverse bucket list, didn't even consider stuff from childhood, high school. Oh, I'm so glad we're bringing that in. Oh, I hope that serves you well, Julie, to be able to go back there. Think about that when this concept of a bucket list, right? We're looking forward of all the things. This really is looking back at all the things, everything that's back here for you. There might be things you hadn't considered until you start writing. And maybe even just thinking, was there anything from my child? Like, did I do anything in elementary school that was, an achievement? Maybe just making it through. Maybe, like I said, surviving middle school. Am I the only one who's like, that should, I don't know. I feel like we should have a pin. I survived middle school. Write them down. Maybe you got out of debt. That would be huge. Write it down. Whatever comes to mind for you. Maybe you've started a business. Maybe you've moved to a new city and made friends. Maybe you've been married for, X amount of years, 1 year, 10 years, 30 years. Like, these are accomplishments. Maybe you got out of a very toxic, terrible relationship. That is a huge accomplishment. Write it down. whatever comes to mind for you. This is your backwards bucket list. You know, there are times when you get to places in seasons of life where you're like, I can't do this. This is hard. This is too much. I have no idea how I'm ever going to complete this. This is too difficult of a season to get through. I can't. You feel like this is impossible. I don't have it within me. I don't have the strength. Maybe you think, I don't have the know-how. I want you to turn your head and look back. Look at this backwards bucket list. Look at how much you've already done. Maybe it's places you've traveled. Maybe you've gone somewhere amazing. Add it to the list. Maybe you've been able to make a big purchase. Add it to the list. Maybe you've won a battle. Add it to the list. You got out of a situation. Add it to the list. You changed for the better. Add it. You grew in love. Add it. Keep looking back. You've already done hard things. You've already accomplished so much in your life that whatever's in front of you might seem hard, might be difficult. I'm not saying it's not. We're going to face those things, right? It might be really hard. It might be a huge struggle. But look what you've already done. Look how amazing you are. Okay, let's see. Steph says, difficult births get more than one line. Yes, they do. Absolutely. I'm a 4 C-section mama. So let me tell you, I get having the kid, carrying the kids, C-section of the kids, breastfeeding certain, 3 out of the 4. I mean, I survived judgmental women when I couldn't breastfeed. I mean, the section, I need like a page just for having children. I have accomplished a lot, and I've just added graduating my first homeschool kid to that list. That is huge. Okay. What's Julie say? Totally. I think I peaked in high school. I did it all. I doubt you peaked in high school. I have a feeling you just kept going. You just haven't looked at it maybe from this lens yet, Julie, that there's so many things. And again, they're not all these huge things, right? They're not all these, buy a house, leave an abusive situation, get a master's degree situation. Some of them are personal just to us. We feel how important they are. I love that surviving hard times are accomplishments. Yes. Yes, they are. They're so important to acknowledge that as an accomplishment. Steph, I love that you said that. I assume you should write anything down with weight loss. Someone's write down. That is a great point, Julie. A really great point. Yeah, we want to take that value off of our body, because when I look at these things, when I look at my backwards bucket list, even when I look at my value statements, the focus is not on the size of my body. When I look back at that list and I start listing all things, and I'm not talking about pregnancy where I was growing a human, but when I look at all those things I did, my weight wasn't a factor. My size of my body was not a factor in achieving those things. One of the things I have on my backwards bucket list, I did a half marathon and was at one of my heaviest weights when I was weighing and dieting and doing all of that. But the accomplishment was I ran most of it, not all of it, but I completed a half marathon. And it was because my body is amazing, but the focus is not my body, it's on what I did. I want to take it out of that place where we're so focused on that external and see how amazing we are. Yeah, I love that you said society sees it as a great accomplishment. You're right. And that's where we get so tangled up, right? That those are accomplishments. And why do we feel that way? Because we're told, oh, you look great. Have you lost weight? Oh, what are you doing? Right? We're told this. We hear those messages, and it must be about my body. My value must be in the size and shape of my body, in what, size pants I'm wearing, though I could go to the same store and buy 6 different sizes and they all fit me, right? That's just the society we live in. That this is so much deeper in who you are. And I want you to uncover, but highlight your value, who you are, what you've done, what you've accomplished. Such great insight. I would love it if anybody has any others. If you're here live that you want to share something that made it on your bucket list. I love that we have some here. Difficult births. Hold on. Let me see. Surviving hard times. Let's see. What else do we have? Let me see if there's one other one up here. I don't want to miss one of those comments. So if you are here live, I'd love you to share one of yours. If you feel comfortable writing, one of your bucket list items. If you're watching the replay, share it with us as well, so I can celebrate that with you too. Let me take a quick sip. I want to say, while you are typing those in and thinking about, sharing one of your backwards bucket list items, that the value statements from the email and here tonight with the bucket list, the backwards bucket list, this is not like a one and done situation. You can keep coming back and adding to them. I actually highly recommend you have them somewhere that you can be easily reminded of how amazing you are. And that you can even add to them when something crosses your mind. Like, just recently, I graduated my first kiddo from homeschool. That goes on the list. Let's see. Julie said, adopted internationally as a single mom. Okay, Julie, I'm just going to cry. Like right here. This is amazing. You're amazing. Walked a marathon. Yay. Oh my gosh. That's amazing too. Amazing. Achieved my CFP designation in 13 months. Passed first try on the board exam. Heather, you're amazing. You're amazing. I love this. I love this. Passed first try. Those are like 2 lines to me, Heather, that you achieve this in 13 months and you pass first try on the board exam. Those each get a line, right? This list is amazing. I love this exercise. I told you all, this is my favorite thing. Another power walking a marathon. Like, listen, let's give it up. Let's give it up for people who choose to walk and run things. Like, are we all nuts? I didn't do it again. I don't know about any of you, Julie and Heather, if you did that again, but once was enough for me. Once was enough. I literally checked it off my bucket list and then it went on my backwards bucket list. Is that funny? Because I have this bucket list, there's things I want to do. I don't know if anyone's like me. Okay, we're done. We don't have to do that again. Julie did it twice. They each get a line, Julie. They each get a line. That's amazing. And I think this really, again, highlights something we talked about in yesterday in day 1, was you can still have all these things, these amazing things that are things our body can do for us. But that's not where our value comes from. That's not what makes us amazing, the size and shape of our body. It's you. It's you. It's these things in your value statements that make you who you are. It's all these things that you've set out to do and you've done that make you amazing. We want to take that worth that the external is saying. And I love that was pointed out tonight, society or culture, Western civilization, America, whatever you want to say, like that focus is so much on how you look, not who you are. And we are flipping the script and saying, no, who I am is what's important. Who I am, what I'm capable of, that's what matters. So I want you to write. I want you to write until nothing else comes. And then I want you to sit it and come back to it. I don't want you to just ignore that again. I want somewhere where you can see it, but that also when something else pops in your mind, because this is what's going to happen. We just opened a door and things are going to pop in your mind. Maybe you're going to end up back in that middle school thought process. And you're like, wait a minute. I wrote a poem in 7th grade for our literary magazine. I don't even know if it's a thing anymore. Our magazine's even a thing anymore. Um, that's going to pop in your head. Maybe it's something that you just kind of shoved under the carpet, like, well, I don't know, I had to leave that relationship. It was awful. This was bad for me, but you didn't see it as an accomplishment, as an achievement that you took care of your mental health. Write it down. Julie says, I've doubled the lines I had. I love this. I do forget sometimes all I've done. I think we do. And especially if we've been so caught up in focusing on our body, size, shape, weight, all of those things, it like puts this mute button on the things that are really important, on the things that make us who we are, on how amazing we are, on all the things that we've accomplished already. So whether you've accomplished those in 25 years, 40 years, 60 years, I have a client right now, she's 70 years old and her backwards bucket list is like amazing, but something she had not thought of yet. Something she'd never in her 70 years taken a look back to say, I'm amazing. Like, look what I've done. This exercise, I'm telling you, it is probably my most favorite thing to have done for myself, to share with you, with anyone. Oh my gosh, Heather, I got a trophy for forensics in high school, the only trophy I've ever got in my entire life. Listen, you have a trophy and it's for forensics. Come on now. I love this. Write it down. I assume you're typing it here because it's on the list. I love it. I love that it's coming up for you. I'm 51 and going back to high school. Go for it. Go for it. We put so much of that somewhere else in a closet, right? We've tucked it away and forgot. I'm amazing. I'm already amazing as I am right here. All right. If you all have other ones, I'd love you to share them in here, but it's been our time here. And I know I kept you a little longer yesterday for day 1. So day 2 with our backwards bucket list, wrapping this up about 30 minutes. So I am going to be like this. My cheeks are going to hurt for the rest of the night because this is just everything to me. I hope that you have enjoyed this as much as I enjoy teaching it and sharing this exercise with you. And even those of you who've done a little of this before, that it just filled your soul, and just to look down. And I want to encourage you, after you write, read it over again, just one more time. Just read it over again, one more time, and sit with that and breathe it in and remind yourself, I'm amazing. I have done so much already. I have accomplished and achieved things I had completely forgotten about. And you know what? I can do just about anything because I'm amazing. And then head over to your value statements, reread those. You are fully capable. You are strong. You are kind. You are thoughtful. You are creative. You are an artist. Whatever those things are, you're a go-getter. Go take a look at those. Steph says, I'm a terrible introvert. Oh, no, I like, oh, wait, but you spoke to 2 crowds of over 1,000 potential new students and parents in college. First of all, introverts are awesome people. I have a great episode, Steph, on my podcast about being an introverted extrovert. I'll have to share that one with you if you want to hear that one, because that's how I identify as this introverted extrovert. But how amazing is that, Steph? 1,000 potential new students and parents in college, 2 crowds, twice you did. That's 2 lines. Steph, you got the process here. There's one for the first time, one for the next time, because you're amazing, because you've accomplished that twice. Completely terrifying. So even overcoming your own fear, overcoming this thing that could have stopped you, I think that gets its own line, Steph. You overcame. I love that. And then you did it again. Like, that's just amazing. Amazing. So you can see why I love this exercise and why I love sharing it and why I don't want to stop. But I know there are humans in this house that are on my backwards bucket list and my bucket list of things that I want to do with them, but they probably want to eat. I'm sure on their list right now is they would like to have dinner because it's about 6:30 here in Arizona. I love this. I really don't want to stop. Keep the comments coming, share on here. I want you to know that when you share, I know you're encouraging those who might not feel as comfortable right now, right? They're kind of, dipping their toe in, testing the waters, and maybe they're really, really introverted as well, and you're encouraging them. So I just want to say thank you all. Day 2, love it. Cannot wait for tomorrow. Like, cannot wait. I'm so excited. I will hop on as soon as I see some improvements with the website if it happens. If not, please don't hesitate to email support@healthcoach4life.com. You can also DM me on here. If you do not receive the emails and you're like, Jen, I know I signed up for this on your website, I'm having issues, or you're like, Jen, I didn't sign up, but I want to. So email support. I want to make sure you get all of these things and then what's coming as well, because day 3, I mean, it's just as good. It's just as good. And I think I'll come in here with cheeks a hurting tomorrow from all of this. All right. Thank you all. I look forward to connecting with you on here. If you have questions, definitely reach out. And here's to you being amazing.